Seoul Land 226 Original Novel DouLuo DaLu. Chapter 259. Slaughter King? Great-grandfather? TL by Bagelson. His full-strength attack was easily beaten by the opponent's heaven-scorching strike, and all that happened to the enemy was that he sank into the ground to his knees. That enormous pit was caused by the force of Tang San and the Slaughter King simultaneously warding off the explosive energy of the trident and long sword colliding. In just a single exchange, Tang San was already completely defeated, so much that he even lost hold of the sea god trident. Ever since he started cultivating spirit power as a child, Tang San had never experienced such a crushing defeat. Even back when Xiaowu sacrificed herself from him, he was surrounded and besieged by multiple enemies. But the Slaughter King was just one man, but had still defeated his divine tool. Tang San was completely unable to understand how the Slaughter King, who had previously been within his calculations, had unexpectedly grown so powerful after being enveloped in the sea god's light, so powerful he basically couldn't contend against him. It wasn't just his spirit power that was powerful, there was also that sword in his hand. Because Tang San believed that even sea god DouLuo DaLu couldn't have blocked his previous all-out attack this easily. But this Slaughter King was not only not weaker than DouLuo, that sword he held also didn't seem to be inferior to his sea god trident. That's why he was defeated so miserably. Only, even though he was seriously injured, Tang San somehow felt that the opponent could obviously have used an even stronger attack, but the Slaughter King seemed to have finally held back, without letting that sword energy cut him. Otherwise, he might have already been beheaded. Always the one who fully calculated the battles, Tang San's mind was now in chaos. He could take the physical pain, but the heartfelt sense of defeat and inability to contend was extremely painful. He'd never felt like this. Even against his most formidable opponents he'd still been able to think of the best way to deal with them. However, the Slaughter King's suddenly exploding strength, as well as the current situation, made him feel despair. There was already no meaning to regret. The only thought in Tang San's mind right now was how to save Xiaowu after he was killed. Perhaps he could somehow help Xiaowu complete the resurrection inside the wishful 100 treasures purse while he got killed. After all, his true strength had long since reached the title DouLuo level. Just as Tang San's mind was in chaos, the Slaughter King's voice echoed. This is the sea god's strength, why do you have the sea god trident? Do you know DouLuo? His voice had undergone very large changes compared to before, no longer sharp or vicious. It had become heavy with age, and the voice that was originally unlike a middle-aged man was that of a dignified elder. Tang San was after all an intelligent person. Even though he had suffered an enormous blow, hearing the changes in the Slaughter King's voice, his despairing heart was aflame with hope. Releasing his spirit power, he pushed himself free of the surrounding rock. When he stepped out into the deep pit, he once again spit out a mouthful of blood due to the exertion and his injuries. But he still immediately stood straight. He would never forget what his father once taught him. The Slaughter King really was different from before. Even though his whole body was still sheathed in bloody light, his eyes had become especially bright. Gazing deeply at Tang San, the expression in his eyes was thoughtful and somewhat complex. It felt as if he had awoken from a dream. You know Senior DouLuo too? Tang San asked doubtfully. He had no plans on running. The strength of the man in front of him wasn't below DouLuo's in the slightest, and that heavy sword in his hand was even more formidable than any weapon DouLuo had. It would be impossible to escape even with the vast sea barrier's hiding effect. A deep grief flashed in the Slaughter King's eyes. Many years ago, even I don't know how many. Is she still well? Tang San said faintly. I don't know if I should say how well she is. Just who are you? Who am I? Who am I? Ha 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 ha. The Slaughter King suddenly faced towards the sky and laughed loudly. But within the laugher, his expression was still extremely suffering, 2 tears of blood flowing from the corners of his eyes. Did I win? Or lose? As far as I'm concerned, there's no longer a meaning to anything. Was I wrong? Was I right? Decades like a dream. I fell to such sin. Azura, well done Azura. In the end I still couldn't pass your trial. There's no right or wrong, perhaps it's time and fate. Wild energy fluctuations made everything in the surroundings tremble. The heavy sword in the Slaughter King's hands also constantly overflowed with bloody light. Tang San only stood there, quietly watching him. He vaguely understood that there was a major difference between this Slaughter King and the completely blood-colored one from before. Apparently, the current him was the original. But he still couldn't guess what had happened. After a very long time, the Slaughter King finally calmed down. The bloody tears stopped falling, and his eyes once again grew focused. Judging by the Sea God trident you have, and that you have the Sea God's light capability, you should be the Sea God's chosen. Tang San couldn't easily hide it, and nodded. The Slaughter King said faintly. Unfortunately, you still aren't the true Sea God, otherwise I would have been the one defeated just now. Man becoming God, I have been standing on this difficult step for decades, but still haven't been able to take it, and it's also eternally impossible for me to take it. Kid, thank you. Thank me. Tang San looked somewhat puzzled at the Slaughter King. The Slaughter King said indifferently. If not for your Sea God's light, it would have been impossible for my true nature to wake up. I would always have been that evil blood-red lost self, controlled by evil. It was your Sea God's light that let me break free of that cage, and also accomplish this demigod form. Even if it's already too late, to be able to feel God-level strength, counts as half fulfilling my life's wish. While he spoke, the red light in his hand vanished, and that heavy sword also turned into blood-red streaks and gradually disappeared into his palm. Aren't you very curious about how I could undergo such enormous changes before? It was you who saved me from that prison. It doesn't matter if I tell you. In some sense, we're actually the same kind. The Slaughter King spoke calmly, his mood seemed to have already calmed down. Please speak, Senior. Tang San asked equally calmly. The Slaughter King said. The reason I say we are the same kind, is because we are both chosen by gods, just chosen by different ones. The one who chose you is the Sea God, the god of the oceans. And the one who chose me, is the god of evil, also known as the god of slaughter. And its true name is Azura. Back then, because of a promise, I put all my effort into breaking through to become a god. But, becoming god is still far, far too difficult. Only the power of thousands of years of amassed belief can help a peak-level power's physical body become a god. Thousands of years really is far too long a time for me, who can be sure how long they can live. Seize every minute. Therefore, I chose another path, to look to inherit a god's position. This world originally had a lot of gods, but only true main gods can leave behind their divine intent when they transcend this world, to look for their successor. Like the Sea God who chose you, and Spirit Hall's God of Light. Finding the divine intent left behind by gods is so difficult, even if I back then was admittedly exceptionally talented, it was still very difficult to find any clues. Until I reached Slaughter City, and finally found the breath of a god. That was Azura. This world actually has two gods of evil. One is the god in charge of slaughter, Azura, and the other rules evil desire, Rakshasa. The city of depravity is the remnant they left behind in this world when they transcended. Azura and Rakshasa aren't twin existences, but more like eternal enemies. Azura controls the purest slaughter energy, but what Rakshasa controls, is the power of evil. Only by mutually opposing each other will the world not fall into chaos. Back then I thought I found Azura's divine seat, and I was immediately excited. Azura also approved of my strength and ability, and granted me Azura's trials. The first few were very easily completed, after all, back then I had already reached the pinnacle of human spirit masters. I still remember how excited I was then. Becoming God was a promise I'd made to someone, and only by succeeding would I be entitled to go find her, and could finally be together with her. But in the next trials, I gradually lost myself. When I confronted the blood-red nine-headed Bat King, my heart was already corrupted by evil. The evil obsession flayed me open, and directly blocked my heart. My body became the blood-red nine-headed Bat King's parasitic host, becoming the Slaughter King you saw before. Only when I woke up just now did I understand that what I received back then wasn't the pure Azura's trials. Rakshasa's breath was mixed into that trial. Clearly, back when Rakshasa transcended, in order not to let his successor be thwarted by Azura again, specially interfered with Azura's divine intent, and changed it into Slaughter City's shape. What was originally a world of slaughter, became a place of depravity and evil. Azura's divine intent was constantly corroded, polluted with countless impurities. It's also because of this that I was disturbed by Rakshasa's divine intent and couldn't complete Azura's trials, and completely fell to evil obsession, parasitised by the blood-red nine-headed Bat King. Over the years, the blood-red nine-headed Bat King has constantly been corrupting me, in order to truly take over my body and absorb all my energy. But my original heart still always existed, constantly fighting it for control over my body. Until just now when, with the help of your Sea God's light, I finally broke through the block, and used the sacred aura of the sea god's light to expel the evil obsession Rakshasa left behind in Asura's divine intent, thereby passing Asura's 8th trial, earning the approval of the sacred Asura sword. Unfortunately, this is all already too late, already far too late. At this moment, Tang San suddenly spoke up. Senior, the person you made a promise to, wouldn't be senior sea god DouLuo DaLu. The Slaughter King had been immersed in memories of his sufferings over these years, and now that he heard Tang San's question he couldn't help being distracted. How did you know? Don't tell me she mentioned it to you. The riddle in his heart finally undone, Tang San didn't directly answer the Slaughter King, but rather raised his left hand. Watch! Black light rushed out. In order not to arouse the Slaughter King's vigilance, Tang San purposely slowed down the speed of spirit power condensation. Strand by strand, the black light gradually took shape in his left hand, until he firmly held the clear sky hammer carved with the inscription of the Death God domain. The Slaughter King's gaze was frozen, looking at the clear sky hammer Tang San held. The bloody light fluctuated violently around him, making Tang San involuntarily retreat a few steps before catching his balance. Your clear sky school's disciple. Whose son? The Slaughter King's voice shook, bloody tears constantly flowing from his black eyes, making his face look a bit fierce. Tang San said deferentially. My father is Tang Hao. Senior, you. Tang Hao, so you're Hao's son. It really has been long, even Hao already has a son this big. Good, you're very good. Very good. Child, I'm called Tang Chen. As he spoke, black light rushed into his hand, and an immense sledgehammer completely covered with dark golden lines appeared in Tang Chen's hand. Even though the shape of that hammer was enormously different from Tang San's clear sky hammer, the genuine clear sky hammer's aura was inimical. It was the clear sky school's unique inherited spirit, and also the pinnacle form of a unique spirit. Seeing that solid clear sky hammer, Tang San didn't hesitate, kneeling on the ground with a thump, bowing, choked with emotion. Great-grandfather. Right now he was also extremely emotional. He had never expected the Slaughter King in that slaughter city to actually be his great-grandfather. The despair and pain in his heart was now completely obliterated, a flash of understanding piercing through his doubts. Yes. His great-grandfather also equally possessed a true divine tool, and his cultivation was far higher than his. What was disgraceful about being defeated by his own great-grandfather? Being able to accidentally help his great-grandfather return to his senses made Tang San wild with joy. In this time when strength was needed the most, if he could have his great-grandfather to lead, not only wouldn't there be any problem with the Clear Sky School's re-emergence, the two great empires' spirit masters would also have a leading character. Who in the world could have the prestige of his great-grandfather? As a former sect master of the world's #1 sect, a rank 99, half-god peak DouLuo, what kind of formidable strength was that? Get up! Hurry up and get up! Good child, let great-grandfather take a good look at you. Tang Chen wanted to step forward and help Tang San up, but when the bloody light around him was in front of Tang San, a dense grief flashed through his eyes, and he only stretched out his hands, without touching him. Because Tang San's head was lowered, he didn't see the expression in Tang Chen's eyes. Great-grandfather, you have to give justice for my father. Tang San bowed once again. Tang Chen said astonished. Get up first. Your father? What's happened to Hao? He was the person most promising to inherit my legacy. Don't tell me he isn't the Clear Sky School head now? I've been trapped in Slaughter City for decades, and I really don't know what's happened outside. I have a vague impression that your father's aura appeared near me. Just what's actually happened, tell me in detail. Tang San understood. What Tang Chen said about sensing his father's aura should be when his father walked the Hell Road, and obtained the Death God domain. Only unfortunately, great-grandfather and great-grandson didn't recognize each other. Immediately, he spoke of the Clear Sky School's events over these years in detail, his father and mother's love, Spirit Hall's persecution, the sect's banishment, the sect's sealing, as well as the current Clear Sky School's retreat, without missing any detail. Tang Chen was Tang San's great-grandfather, the last generation's Tang sect master, his personal strength even above sea god DouLuo DaLu, and had now even more inherited a portion of Asura's divine power. Different from him, he possessed the support of rank 99 spirit power, possibly the #1 spirit master alive. With his great-grandfather's support, Tang San firmly believed that, whether the Clear Sky School or the great powers of the era, none would be as difficult to face. Listening to Tang San, Tang Chen's expression grew uglier and uglier. Each time he changed expression, the atmosphere would make a sound as if shattering. Fine, well done Spirit Hall. Well done DouLuo. Your grandfather, that idiot. What kind of method is silently enduring? The bloody light surged, fluctuating chaotically. Tang San could vaguely see wisps of blood constantly flash beneath his great-grandfather's skin. How actually ended up like that? That child, how stupid. Tang Chen wept, but his tears were still the color of blood. Great-grandfather, don't be sad. What's most important to us right now is how to let the Clear Sky School return to the Spirit Master world, and destroy Spirit Hall's ambition, thoroughly rooting them out. The irreconcilable enemies of my parents, I can't rest unless they're annihilated completely. Tang Chen watched Tang San in a daze for a long time without saying anything. Tang San looked earnestly at him. In his mind, with his great-grandfather aware of the events of the sect, he would definitely return to put things in order. However, the light in Tang Chen's eyes gradually dimmed. Sighing deeply, he shook his head, bitterly closing his eyes. The sect's circumstances are all my responsibility. But, I can't return to the sect with you. Child, you're in your 20s now. How many sea god trials have you passed? Tang San looked somewhat puzzled at Tang Chen. Great-grandfather, I've already passed the 7th trial. Tang Chen said. In other words, once it's time for the 9th trial, you will return to Sea God Island. Tang San nodded. Yes. Tang Chen stretched his hand into his coat and fished out a small golden hammer. Each end of the little hammer was inlaid with a black gem, looking extremely refined. Child, this is for you. It's my token. It's also the token of our Clear Sky School's chief elder. With it, the elders will all listen to you, and you will be entitled to dismiss the sect master and decide on all major matters of the sect. You're still barely in your 20s, but you've actually reached 8 rings, and even passed 7 of the Sea God's trials. Even though I was proud back then, I was still far behind you at your present age. Good child, I'm proud of you, and you're also the pride of our Clear Sky School. I leave the future of the Clear Sky School to you. When you're about to take the Sea God 9th trial and return to Sea God Island, I will be waiting for you there. I owe Bo Sixi far too much. I couldn't complete my promise to her, but I'll still go see her. Speaking, he tossed that small golden hammer to Tang San. Suddenly leaping up, he rose into the sky like a giant blood-red bird, instantly turning into a blood-red meteor and vanishing from Tang San's sight. Tang San dully watched the direction his great-grandfather disappeared. How come his great-grandfather just left like this? Could it be that Sea God DouLuo Bo Sixi was even more important to him than the sect? No, definitely not. When he left, he clearly had a painful expression, clearly completely unwilling to let go of the sect. But he still left, this was just. Tang San thought about it, but still couldn't figure out what was going on. But no matter what was said, his great-grandfather's appearance was a good thing. Even if the old man had gone to find Bo Sixi now, he would still return one day. Didn't he say he would wait for him on Sea God Island? Thinking about this, Tang San gradually calmed down. Putting that precious and heavy little golden hammer in the 24 moonlit bridges, he leapt up, and landed where the Sea God Trident had fallen. Fully using controlling crane catching dragon, the trident was drawn out from the ground. Carefully wiping the dirt away, Tang San thought, oh, trident, it's all my fault, I wasn't strong enough for you, I'll definitely hurry up and become the true Sea God, and let you shine with your proper splendor. Yi, what about Hulina? Tang San now recalled that Spirit Hall Holy Maiden. His spiritual force spread out like a web, leading him to where Hulina fell. Hulina was already unconscious, her clothes damaged in places and revealing the fair skin inside. Even though he had seen it once before, Tang San still couldn't keep his heart from skipping a beat. Hulina was the most charming among all the women he had met. He didn't touch her with his hands, a ray of Sea God's light instead shooting out from his forehead, falling on Hulina. Even though the Sea God's light didn't have a direct healing technique, under his control it could stimulate a person's potential, accelerating recovery. The more he used it, the more familiar Tang San became with the marvels of the Sea God light. Enveloped by golden light, Hulina gradually stirred. Her physical injuries weren't too serious, before she was just knocked unconscious. With the aid of the Sea God's light, in just moments, she returned to consciousness. Opening her eyes and first finding Tang San in front of her, Hulina heaved a long sigh of relief. You killed him. Her face was filled with excited happiness. When she'd struggled in the slaughter domain just before, seeing the subordinates by her side fall dead one by one, her heart was already filled with despair. While she was in despair, only one figure appeared in her mind. She'd extravagantly wished that, even if she just saw him again once before she died, she would still be satisfied. And just then, he really appeared, wreathed in divine golden light, like a deity descending. Compared to before, he was even more soldierly, and also had some mature charm. Raising his hand, he had stopped the enemy, saving her in her moment of deepest crisis. What could be more perfect than that? Even though Hulina had never imagined meeting again under such circumstances, with him appearing to save her once again, Hulina's heart held only feelings of happiness and satisfaction. Even though she knew this man's heart wasn't set on her, that still wasn't important right now. Tang San nodded indifferently. More or less. Saying that he had killed the Slaughter King wasn't incorrect. Hulina struggled to her feet. Suddenly discovering her tattered clothing, her face turned red. Hurriedly turning around, she quickly pulled out a robe from her personal spirit tool and covered herself. Thank you, you saved me yet again. Hulina said somewhat bashfully. Tang San smiled calmly. It's nothing, I just happened to be around. Besides, even if I didn't meet him this time, he would still have come to find me. Turning back around, Hulina's face was a bit flushed, speaking in a low voice. Last time in Stardo Great Forest. Tang San scowled. No need to mention it, I will settle that debt with your spirit empire. Hulina sighed. I know, it would be very difficult to resolve this hatred. But, Tang San, if one day you defeat our spirit empire, can't you not kill my teacher? She's actually also someone unfortunate. Tang San sneered. Unfortunate? As Spirit Hall's supreme pontiff, and now as spirit emperor, where do you say she's unfortunate? Even if she really is, can she lay her own pain on everyone else? If she hadn't sent you to Stardo Forest, would we have fought? Would Xiaowu be sacrificed because of your people? Don't say anything, I know, you have good intentions. If that day really comes, I won't kill you, but Bibi Dong must die. If you don't wish to see that scene with your own eyes, then leave the Spirit Empire before that. Hulina looked lifelessly at Tang San, the rims of her eyes slightly red. Tang San. Do you really believe the two empires have the strength to contend with the Spirit Empire? You're the one who should leave. Haven't you always been missing all these years? Why did you have to return to the continent? I understand that you're dedicated. But, our Spirit Empire really isn't something you can fight alone. Although I don't know how you reached this level of strength, but so what even if you become titled DouLuo? You're only one person, but you face the Spirit Empire's tens of thousands of Spirit Masters. The Spirit Masters of the two great empires added together still isn't a third of ours. As long as our empire finishes consolidating the provinces, the day the army is united, is the moment the two great empires are destroyed. Don't tell me you believe you can fight the entire continent with your strength alone. Tang San said indifferently. It's meaningless for us to talk about this now. Since you're fine, I'll take my leave. The next time we meet, we might be enemies on the battlefield. Goodbye. Speaking, Tang San held the sea god trident, and turned to leave. Wait. Hulina eagerly cried out, her beautiful eyes brimming with sadness. All these years had gone by, so why was she unable to accept Yan's feelings? Even if she herself didn't want to admit it, she understood very clearly that it was because of this man. For all her life she could never forget the experience of walking the hell road back then, and even less forget his aura. Love was sometimes blind. She and Tang San had been together for a very, very short time, but the feelings carved in her bones was something Yan had never been able to give her from childhood until now. She'd also tried to forget him, but his voice and smile basically couldn't be expelled from her heart. Now seeing the man of her heart treat her this coldly, how could she not suffer? What else is it? Tang San replied without turning his head. Hulina asked somewhat weakly. Can't you tell me, where are you going? Tang San said indifferently. Why? Are you planning to send the Spirit Empire army after me? You know I wouldn't do that. Hulina yelled somewhat agitated, tears already flowing uncontrollably. She couldn't bear his accusations. Tang San sharply turned his head, his eyes releasing a close to severe flash. Hulina, keep in mind that we aren't friends, but enemies. As long as you are still in the Spirit Empire, this relationship will not change. I didn't save you today, I just defended myself. Everything that happened to you and me before stops at this point, hereafter, we are only enemies. While speaking, Tang San turned the sea god trident in his hand, the broad edges streaking out and immediately forming a deep furrow in the ground, separating the two. Drawing a boundary in the earth, the trident seemed to have cut Hulina's heart. Her face turned deathly pale, and she unconsciously staggered back a couple of steps, almost falling to the ground, her lips quivering. You. Tang San didn't look at her again, turning and leaping up, flying into the distance. Just at this moment, Hulina suddenly exhausted her strength to shout. Tang San, no matter where you go, absolutely don't go to Stardo Great Forest, my teacher brought 6 elders there to hunt spirit beasts. No matter how he treated her, Hulina's heart still only held that inseparable feeling. Already high in the air, Tang San paused a moment, but he very soon accelerated once again, in the blink of an eye disappearing from Hulina's view. Hulina couldn't hold up any longer, falling to the ground with a thump, spitting out a mouthful of blood, a grieving expression on her charming face. Flying in the sky, Tang San's heart wasn't calm either. Hulina's last words had shocked him. Bibi Dong had led 6 Spirit Empire elders for Stardo Great Forest, there was no need to question her motive. Besides the kings of the forest, Titan Giant Ape Ming and Sky Blue Bill Python Deming, what else could make the Spirit Emperor lead 6 titled DouLuo to attack? With a campaign with such a formidable lineup, it would be very difficult for even Deming and Ming to escape. Even if the Stardo Great Forest was their domain, the troop the Spirit Empire sent was just too powerful. As for Tang San's attitude to Hulina, he had done it deliberately. Just as he said, he and Hulina could only be enemies. With his intelligence, how could he not understand how Hulina felt for him? But how could he accept it? His heart had long since not had the room for 2 women, even if his impression of Hulina was pretty good, he absolutely didn't want to give her room to dream, and so he spoke so heartlessly. Dithering would instead lead to chaos, this was something Tang San deeply understood, and so he'd resolutely drawn a line between his and Hulina's worlds, and also severed that good impression he had of her. Otherwise, should he not attack if he faced Hulina when he confronted the Spirit Empire later? Since it was impossible to be together, he might as well firmly settle the issue, in order to avoid being bothered again. As he flew, Tang San brought Xiaowu back out from the wishful 100 treasures purse, at the same time using his spiritual force to wake Xiaowu's soul from her sleep in the spirit ring and spirit bone, telling her what Hulina said just now. Listening to Tang San's explanation, Xiaowu was immediately worried. Then let's hurry. Deming and Ming are in danger. Bibi Dong is definitely hunting them for their spirit rings and bones. We have to hurry and save them. It finish at here. All girls and guys, comments, likes, or no updates. Comments, likes, shares, subscribes. See ya.